Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking about something that affects literally every single one of us, personal finance. I know what some of you might be thinking right now. Ugh, another lecture about saving money and cutting out my daily coffee. But that's not what this is about. Let me ask you something. Have you ever laid awake at night worrying about money? Wondered how you'll ever afford a home? Felt that knot in your stomach when an unexpected bill arrives? I've been there too. And here's what I've learned. Financial stress isn't just about the numbers. It's about the feeling of not being in control. The good news? That control is absolutely something you can gain. Personal finance isn't about being rich. It's about having the freedom to make choices about your life without money being the deciding factor. It's about sleeping better at night. It's about turning, I can't afford that, into that's not my priority right now. Today, we're going to cover the fundamentals of personal finance in plain language, what it is, why it matters, and practical steps you can take starting today. No fancy jargon, no get-rich-quick schemes, just straightforward information that works for real people with real lives. Whether you're living paycheck to paycheck, trying to pay off student loans, saving for your first home, or just wanting to feel more confident about your financial decisions, this video is for you. Let's get started. Part 1. What is personal finance? So, what exactly is personal finance? Simply put, it's how you manage your money. It covers everything from daily spending decisions to long-term financial planning. Personal finance includes income, the money coming in. This might be from your job, side hustles, investments, or other sources. Spending, where your money goes. This includes necessities like food and housing, as well as discretionary spending like entertainment and travel. Saving, setting money aside for future needs and wants. Investing, growing your money over time by putting it to work. Protection, safeguarding yourself and your family with insurance and emergency funds. Planning, making intentional decisions about your financial future. But here's the thing, personal finance is exactly that, personal. Your financial situation is unique to you. Your income, your expenses, your goals, your values, they're all specific to your life. And this is important. There is no one-size-fits-all approach. The 22-year-old recent graduate has different needs than the 35-year-old parent or the 55-year-old thinking about retirement. Let me give you a quick example of how personal finance plays out in everyday life. Meet Sarah. She makes $45,000 a year as a graphic designer. After taxes, that's about $3,000 a month. Her rent is $1,200, utilities average $200, car payment is $300, student loans are $350, groceries run about $400, and she spends roughly $300 on other necessities. That leaves her with $250 each month. How Sarah uses that $250 is personal finance in action. She could spend it all on restaurants and shopping. She could save it all for a house down payment. She could put some in an emergency fund and some toward retirement. There's no universally right answer. It depends on Sarah's goals and priorities. What matters is that she's making informed decisions aligned with what she wants from life. That's the essence of personal finance. Making intentional choices about your money that support the life you want to live. Part 2. Why personal finance matters. Let's talk about why this stuff matters. Because I promise you, it does probably more than you realize. Studies consistently show that money worries are the #1 source of stress for Americans. This stress affects our mental health, physical health, relationships, job performance, basically every aspect of our lives. When we're constantly worried about making ends meet or drowning in debt, we can't be fully present for the things that truly matter to us. But the flip side is also true. Taking control of your finances creates a sense of peace and possibility that ripples through your entire life. Real freedom comes from financial stability. We often think of freedom as being able to do whatever we want, whenever we want. But true freedom requires having the financial resources to support those choices. Want to quit a toxic job? You need savings to bridge the gap. Want to start a business? You need capital or good credit. Want to help a family member in need? You need financial flexibility. Financial stability gives you options. And having options is what real freedom is all about. The cost of financial ignorance. Here's something that keeps me up at night. Many people will lose hundreds of thousands of dollars over their lifetime simply because they never learned basic financial principles. Think about that. Not because of bad luck or economic downturns, but simply because they didn't know better. They'll pay unnecessary interest on credit cards because they don't understand how compounding works against them. They'll miss out on employer retirement matches, literally free money, because they didn't set up their 401k. They'll buy too much house or car because they didn't understand the true cost of ownership. Small knowledge gaps lead to big financial consequences over time. But the good news is this: you don't need to be a financial expert to make smart decisions. You just need to understand some core principles and be willing to apply them consistently. Let me give you an example of how financial knowledge changes outcomes. Two friends, Alex and Jordan, both 25, both making $50,000 a year. Alex decides to start investing $300 a month for retirement, while Jordan figures they'll start later when they're making more money. Fast forward 10 years. Jordan finally starts investing the same $300 monthly at age 35. Both continue until they're 65. The result? Alex ends up with about $1.2 million, while Jordan has around $550,000. Same monthly investment, same investment return, but Alex has more than double the money simply by starting earlier. That's the power of understanding just one financial concept, compound interest, and acting on it. Part 3. Core Principles of Personal Finance. Now, let's talk about the fundamental principles that form the foundation of sound personal finance. 1. Spend less than you earn. This is the most basic rule of financial stability, but it's also the most powerful. When you consistently spend less than you earn, you create a surplus that gives you options. This doesn't mean you have to live like a monk. It means being intentional about your spending and making sure it aligns with your values and goals. Think about it this way: if your take-home pay is $3,000 a month and your expenses are $3,200, you're falling behind by $200 every single month. That's $2,400 a year that's likely going onto credit cards or other debt. But if you can flip that equation and spend $2,800 while earning $3,000, you now have $200 a month or $2,400 a year to save, invest, or use to pay down existing debt. 2. Build an emergency fund. Life happens. Cars break down. Roofs leak. Jobs are lost. An emergency fund is your financial shock absorber. Start with the goal of saving 1 month's essential expenses, then work toward 3 to 6 months' worth. I cannot tell you how many times my emergency fund has saved me from financial disaster. When my car needed a $1,800 repair last year, it was an inconvenience, not a crisis, because I had my emergency fund. 3. Eliminate high-interest debt. If you're paying 18% or 24% interest on credit cards, it's incredibly difficult to get ahead financially. That's why eliminating high-interest debt should be a top priority. Quick reality check: if you invest money at an 8% average return but you're carrying credit card debt at 20% interest, you're effectively losing 12% on that money. The math just doesn't work in your favor. 4. Save and invest for the future. Your future self depends on the decisions you make today. Retirement might seem far away, but the earlier you start saving, the less you'll need to set aside each month thanks to the power of compound interest. Take advantage of employer retirement matches and tax-advantaged accounts like 401k, S, and IRAs. 5. Protect yourself and your assets. Insurance isn't the most exciting topic, but it's a crucial part of your financial foundation. Health insurance, auto insurance, homeowners or renters insurance, and possibly life and disability insurance if you have dependents. These all protect you from financial catastrophe. 6. Be intentional with your money. This might be the most important principle of all. Be proactive about your financial decisions rather than reactive. Create a spending plan that reflects your values. Know where your money is going. Make conscious trade-offs. Align your spending with what truly matters to you. Remember, every dollar you spend is a vote for the kind of life you want to live. Part 4. Practical financial habits. Now, let's talk about how to put these principles into practice with some specific habits and actions. 1. Track your spending. You can't manage what you don't measure. For at least 1 month, track every dollar you spend. You might be surprised by what you discover. There are plenty of apps that can help with this: Mint, Inab, Personal Capital, or you can use a simple spreadsheet or even pen and paper. When I first tracked my spending, I was shocked to discover I was spending nearly $300 a month on takeout and delivery. That was money I didn't even realize was slipping through my fingers. Once I knew, I could make a conscious decision about whether that spending aligned with my priorities. 2. Create a realistic budget. Based on what you learned from tracking your spending, create a budget that works for your life. A good budget should feel liberating, not restrictive. I recommend the 50-30-20 rule as a starting point. 50% of your take-home pay for needs: housing, food, utilities, transportation, minimum debt payments. 30% for wants: dining out, entertainment, hobbies, etc. 20% for savings and debt paydown beyond minimum payments. Adjust these percentages based on your specific situation and priorities. 3. Automate your finances. Make good financial habits effortless by setting up automatic transfers. Set up direct deposit for your paycheck, then automatic transfers to your savings account, retirement accounts, and for bill payments. What remains in your checking account is what you can spend without worry. This simple system ensures you're saving and paying bills before you have a chance to spend that money elsewhere. It's like giving your responsible self the first shot at your paycheck. 4. Regularly review and adjust. Set a monthly money date with yourself to review your finances. Are you staying on budget? Are your automatic savings happening as planned? Do you need to make adjustments? Then do a deeper review quarterly to check on your progress toward bigger financial goals and make any necessary course corrections. 5. Educate yourself continuously. The financial world is always changing, and there's always more to learn. Commit to ongoing financial education through books, podcasts, reputable websites, or even courses. You don't need to become a financial expert overnight. Just make a habit of learning a little bit more each month, and your knowledge will compound just like your investments. Part 5. Common financial pitfalls to avoid. Now, let's talk about some common financial mistakes that can derail even the best intentions. Lifestyle inflation. This is the tendency to increase your spending as your income increases. You get a raise, and suddenly you're eating out more often or shopping at more expensive stores. Before you know it, you're making more money, but still living paycheck to paycheck. The antidote? When you get a raise, immediately direct a portion of it to savings or investments before you have a chance to inflate your lifestyle. The debt cycle. It's easy to fall into a pattern of paying down debt, only to build it back up again. This often happens because the underlying spending habits haven't changed, or because there's no emergency fund to handle unexpected expenses. Break this cycle by addressing both the debt itself and the behaviors that led to it. Emotional spending. Shopping when you're bored, stressed, or seeking validation can wreak havoc on your finances. We've all been there, buying something to make ourselves feel better in the moment. But that new gadget or outfit provides only temporary happiness, while potentially causing long-term financial stress. Learn to recognize your emotional spending triggers and develop alternative coping mechanisms. Neglecting insurance. Skimping on insurance to save money is a dangerous game. One serious illness, accident, or disaster can wipe out years of careful saving and investing. Trying to time the market. Even professional investors can't consistently predict market movements. For most people, regular, consistent investing regardless of market conditions, known as dollar cost averaging, is the most reliable approach. The comparison trap. Comparing your financial situation to others, especially based on outward appearances, is a recipe for poor financial decisions. Remember, you're seeing other people's highlight reels, not their financial reality. That friend with a luxury car might be drowning in debt, while the coworker with a modest lifestyle might be quietly building wealth. Focus on your own financial goals and values, not what everyone else seems to be doing. Part 6. Taking the first steps. So, where do you go from here? Let me give you a simple 30-day plan to kickstart your financial journey. Days 1 to 7, assessment. Track every penny you spend. Calculate your net worth. Assets minus liabilities. Check your credit report. Annual credit report, offers free reports. List all your debts with interest rates and minimum payments. Days 8 to 14. Planning. Create a basic budget based on your spending patterns. Set 1 to 2 specific financial goals, like building a $1,000 emergency fund. Research and open any needed accounts, high-yield savings, retirement. Set up automatic transfers for savings. Days 15 to 21. Protection. Review your insurance coverage. Create or update your will and other essential documents. Set up an in case of emergency folder with important information. Check if you're taking full advantage of employer benefits. Days 22 to 30. Education and connection. Read one good personal finance book or listen to 3 to 4 podcast episodes. Have an honest conversation about money with your partner or a trusted friend. Find an accountability buddy for your financial journey. Subscribe to a reputable personal finance blog or newsletter. The most important thing is to start. You don't have to do everything perfectly or all at once. Small, consistent steps in the right direction will transform your financial life over time. As we wrap up today, I want to leave you with a few final thoughts. Personal finance isn't just about spreadsheets and savings rates. It's about creating a life of choice rather than constraint. It's about aligning your money with your values and goals. Financial well-being doesn't happen overnight. It's built through hundreds of small decisions made day after day, year after year. But each of those decisions matters. I still remember how overwhelming financial management felt when I was first starting out. There seemed to be so much to learn, so many mistakes to avoid. But breaking it down into simple principles and small actions made it manageable. And I can tell you from experience, the sense of security and freedom that comes from taking control of your finances is worth every effort. If you found this video helpful, please hit that like button and subscribe for more practical financial content. In the comments, let me know which financial topic you'd like me to cover next. Also, I've created a free personal finance starter kit that you can download from the link in the description. Remember, the best time to start improving your finances was 10 years ago. The second best time is today. You've already taken the first step by watching this video. Now it's time for action. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.